Hello, everyone. So let's take a look at Into the Breach, finally. I haven't been able to put a huge amount of time into it, but the time I've put into it so far, about 5 hours, has been extremely enjoyable, so I definitely want to put something out on it today. Into the Breach is the newest game by Subset Games, the guys that brought you FTL. And if you haven't played FTL, just why, first? And second, stop watching this like now and just go play it, because it's FTL. It's awesome. And this game has a lot of that kind of FTL DNA running through it. And I'll probably be referring back to that a couple of times because it has, although it's a very different game gameplay-wise, it's a turn-based strategy on a grid, whereas FTL was a real-time with pause space management kind of thingy-majig-bubber. They're both strategy and roguelite hybrids in a way that really only Subset Games has done. And I kind of consider them at the forefront of that style currently because really, like I said, only they have done it in that particular way. So although gameplay-wise they're different, style-wise they have a lot of similarities. And Into the Breach is a pretty special little beast because although it presents itself as a strategy game, it's also got a lot of other elements to it. It's actually very puzzle-esque. It's not really a puzzle game per se, but it has a lot of puzzle elements because of the way the gameplay works. The way that positioning is incredibly important, and the way that you're always so outnumbered and have to figure out the absolute best, most efficient possible way to present your turn in order to not get horrifically obliterated all the time. And it's really quite compelling because of the way all of this sort of fits together and makes the game. It's getting a lot of praise right now, and rightfully so, because there's never really been anything quite like it, especially on PC. I would say that it's actually kind of Advance Wars-esque, if you've ever played Advance Wars, and that's actually a really good thing, because, I mean, Advance Wars has never made its way to PC in really any form, any recognizable form anyway that I'm aware of, and anyone that's, you know, that's ever hears FTL creators, Advance Wars, Mechs, PC, has my attention at least. So yeah, let's get into the Breach. And I'm going to continue a game that I currently have running because it's on the third island, fairly far into the game. The third of 4, well I guess 5 technically because the 5th one is the final island, but the third of the 4 normal islands. And I don't necessarily expect it to last too long because things start to get kind of tricky once you get that far, but I've finally made it there, so let's go. And here we are. So the way it works is there are multiple islands which you have to save from the Vec, which are an alien force. And I'm currently playing a team of mechs called Blitzkrieg, which consists of a lightning whip mech that I've equipped with a laser, a hook shot mech that can pull things towards it, which is more of a tank really, and a boulder throwing artillery mech that, well, throws boulders. And if that sounds extremely specialized and yet highly kind of odd, well, that's because it is. And it's supposed to be. All of the mech teams are very highly specialized and yet work together in very specific ways, and that's on purpose. And I also said that this is the third island, and that's only technically true. The way that this game works is very interesting. There are multiple islands, 4 of them, like I said, with a 5th final island that is always meant to be done last. And the other 4, however, can actually technically be done in any order that you want, which is really interesting. Once you unlock them, that is. You only start with 1, but every time you complete all of the ones you have available, you'll unlock the next one, and then once you've unlocked them, you can then, in your other games after that, whether you win or lose, whatever, you can then start on any of the others, and then do the next one of any of the others in any order that you please. Which, in my opinion, solves a really interesting problem that a lot of rogue-lite games have, and that the initial parts of games like these tend to have the issue of, well, for some people, it's not really a problem for me and some people that like these games a lot, but the issue that the beginning is always the same. You always do the same thing at first until the game kind of gets going, and sometimes that could take like half an hour or so, depending on the game. But in this case, since you can start at different islands, and different islands have different hazards, different environments, different enemy types, different bosses, etc., etc. Now you can choose where you want to start, and that means you're always fighting in different enemies in different environments with different ideas at the beginning, so you don't always start in the same place every time. which is kind of cool, actually. The third one that I'm on right now is actually an ice island, as you can probably tell by names like Sub-Zero Range and Glacier Cliff and Thermal Dampeners and so forth. And the way all this works is, don't pay attention to the fact that I screwed that one up, cough. You choose an area, and each one has different rewards, represented by these different symbols. And these rewards are bonus objectives. If you are able to complete whatever they represent, you will get those rewards, and, well, the normal objective is, of course, to, you know, not die. And the more rewards it has, the more difficult it is. As you can see, this one with 3 says high threat detected, but it does have one of these, which is a reactor core. And this is a very FTL-like mechanic where the mechs have reactors, and you put power into these reactors to power their various systems. So one reactor I can put into here to give it extra health or extra movement. I can power up this weapon, which I did to give it an extra weapon, the burst beam, which I just gave it. It also has an electric whip, which I upgraded to allow it to chain through buildings without harming them, and all those sorts of things. Very useful. They also have pilots, which are separate from the mechs and can be moved around, and the pilots can level up and gain different types of passive abilities, which will affect whatever mech that they're put into. And you can gain different pilots. If the mech is destroyed, it will actually be healed back to full at the end of a battle, but the mech or the pilot will die permanently. And every time you start a new game, you can take one pilot from a previous timeline with you, as long as they're still alive, and it will keep their levels and passives. So there you go. Now I'm going to probably do the I'm going to do the Sub-Zero Range, I think. Click on one, it will show you the map that you're going to be on. This is, again, very Advance Wars. The map is quite small in comparison. And do the mission. The ice place is interesting because it has lots of ice. And ice is strange because it's technically good and bad. Things encased in ice cannot move or act, but they're also invincible until the ice is broken. And when you first start a map, you can choose where to spawn. So I would like my melee guy to be right in front. Kind of want my little tether tank to kind of be somewhere around to where he can use his abilities, and my artillery unit to be around back. And we now deploy. Now, the victory conditions are a bit... Oh no, there's a time pod. The victory conditions are, generally speaking, to just live for a certain number of turns. You don't actually have to kill everything. You want to kill as many things as possible because they give you experience. But as long as you survive until the turn counter is up, everything that's currently alive will retreat. Okay. So, I want to eventually pick that up because they will give you things like reactor cores, unlock new pilots for you, and things like that. But that is currently not the, you know, you must do this right now kind of thing. Really, what we want to do is protect this because that's one of our objectives. And we will get more power for this. And this is the main objective of the game, is to keep this to full. Every time a building takes damage, this power will go down. And you can see some buildings have more than one power to give. If these take damage, they can take up to 2 of this power down, depending on how much damage the enemies will do. So, this will show me what's going to happen at the end of the turn, and I can even see what order the enemies are going to attack in. So what I actually want to do is preferably not get killed. Now, I've actually had a lot of luck in doing very silly things. So one thing to remember is everything in this game is a resource. And what I mean by that is everything is worth using as a resource. It's even worth using things like your own projectiles, like this rock, for instance, as a resource. I can use this rock to even block enemies spawning, because it actually stays on the map if it doesn't hit anything like an enemy. If I just chuck the rock into an empty space, it will actually block enemies from spawning. I can even use my own health as a resource, for instance. If I want to, say, tank a shot that's about to hit a building, maybe my mechs have enough health to take that hit. And it's worth using my health instead of the grid health, because my mechs will be back to full health at the end of a battle, my grid will not. So my health is a good resource. This particular team has even taught me that my health is worth using as a resource to hurt enemies, because the lightning mech can chain its hit through every connected building and friendly unit. This unit is armored, so it only takes 1 less damage from things that hit it from weapon attacks. So if I was just to do this, for instance, you can see that it's going to hit everything in that line if I hit my own friendly unit. It will kill that mech and hit these bugs, kill that bug, and hit that bug for 2, and only do 1 damage to my own mech, which is very well worth it, actually, because now that coal plant, that bonus objective, is no longer being threatened. All for only 1 damage on my own friendly unit, which is a pretty sweet deal, actually. So I think I'll probably do that, but in fact, I may as well pick this up in the process. And I actually don't even need him here right now, because I don't need him to connect the circuit. But I've actually had really good luck with using this hook mech to fill in blank spaces and pull enemies into other blank spaces and connect giant large circuits together, and then use the lightning whip to just cover huge swaths of the map in lightning and just kill everything. It's been really successful, actually, because he only takes 1 damage every time I do it, whereas the enemies tend to just die from it. It's actually pretty amazing, which is how I got this achievement right here, which is to connect 10 tiles through 1 chain whip attack, which is kind of amazing. Alright, so what I'm actually going to do is move this here. If I move here, and I drag this mech here, he will attack his own bug and kill it. Okay. So I'll now go ahead and whip them. He'll attack his own bug. That projectile isn't going to hit anything. All these buildings are safe. He won't break out the artillery bot. And currently, this rock throw isn't going to do anything. And I unfortunately cannot get him over here to block one of these with the rock. Because the artillery has to be in a straight line, so I need him to be like right here. And I obviously don't want to put him here because he'll get hit by the laser. If I put him here, no, that won't work. I don't think I can use him to block one of those Vex spawns. Your own units are what are called massive, which means they can be in water. Normal ground-based enemies, if you put them in water, it kills them instantly. But your mechs cannot fire their weapons in water. So there is a penalty to being in water. They don't die or anything, but they can't shoot, which is unfortunate. Well, that kind of sucks. I might just have to leave him there for now, because I can't get him anywhere. Because if I put him there, he won't be able to shoot. So that's not going to work. Yeah, I guess I'm probably just going to have him chillax for a minute. Because if I kill that right now, then that's not going to get hit. And that only has 1 health, so it's more valuable for him to attack that. Actually, is it? Because that won't die from the attack. And then I'll just have 2 enemies left. So I think I'd rather just kill the bug with the rock. Let's just kill the bug. There we go. Fewer number of enemies on the board. More valuable than 2 weak enemies. Alright, end turn. And then the turn will go off, which is just him firing a laser at nothing, like a dummy. Oh, you can break the ice. Interesting. Oh, no. Okay, that's bad. That Scion has to die. So Scions are enemies that will buff every other enemy on the board with something. There are different Scions for every island, and the Shell Scion armors every enemy so they each take less damage. So that thing has to immediately get just destroyed, which I can actually do. That's the first order of business. That will destroy the Scion and move the ice a little bit. But that is the first order of business, or else everything is harder to kill, and I'm not dealing with that. So next, I think I would really like to probably just get rid of the laser bot, honestly. I think I'm going to block one of these spawns, actually. Well, if I do that, I won't be able to kill the laser, will I? hang on a minute. So another thing to note about this game that I think is really cool is you really have to be like super sure in your abilities with your mechs, because I think the best way to describe it is you are effectively... Yeah, you are totally useless now. You're effectively... No, that won't do anything. Always outnumbered. There are only 3 of you, and you each have very specialized uses and extremely and extremely limited capabilities. But each of you has a very important role to fill, and it's important that you fill it to the best of your abilities. You have to have a very good understanding of what each of you can do and what each of you can synergize with the others to do. Oh, that's bad. What is that? This is not good. And if you don't actually understand to the fullest capabilities what every one of your units is capable of, you're gonna have a bad time, probably. Alright, well... Oh boy, what is that? A digger. Create defensive rock wall before attacking adjacent tiles. Well, that's really obnoxious. That is an alpha leaper. The alpha versions of enemies have more health and more damage. That does 5 damage, which is fairly excessive. And that's an alpha hornet, which attacks 2 tiles in front of itself for 2 damage. That will take 4, by the way, of the power grid. This is another point. In this game, you're basically always like 1 turn away from everything just going tits up like real hard. And I love that feeling. That feeling that basically nothing is ever going extremely well to the point where you can just relax. Everything's always just about to go to shit, like real hard. And this demonstrates that. Just in 1 turn, if I let this go, I will be down to 2. 2 of these power grid segments left. I'm at full, like the best you can possibly have. And unless this defense, this RNG grid defense kicks in with a 15% chance for any of these buildings to not take damage, both of these will be destroyed, taking 4 of these away. And this will take 1 of its damage away, leaving me with 2. I'll be 2 away from game over already in 1 turn. So you really can't relax. Okay, what would be the best course of action? If I were to just attack this thing, what would happen? It would actually just straight up kill it and destroy its rocks, which I kind of want to do. I think maybe the best course of action would be to destroy this, attack this with a rock to weaken it, and then pull it away to keep its damage away from anything that is damaging. That's a sentence. I think I'll do that. And then I'm just going to have to deal with this breaking that out for now, which I don't want to do, but I don't think I can deal with these adequately if I also damage that, if you get what I mean. I mean, I could just kill that with a rock. Actually, no, I can't, because I can't get in any position to where I can hit that anyway, so that, I think my plan is adequate. Okay, let's whip this. Whip it good. Alright. And then we smack this thing. 3. Boom. Already down to 1 health. What does that mean? Undamaged ice. Oh, well, it's flying, so that doesn't matter. It can't drown. And now, if I were to pull it right here in front of me, I don't necessarily like that. Let's pull it here. Boop. And now it will attack open nothingness. There. So yeah, basically it's interesting that every unit has a couple of obvious uses. Every one of your units has like a couple of obvious uses. And then a couple of... What the hell? A couple of not so obvious uses. And then some kind of really like situational niche synergistic uses with your other units. And you have to kind of figure all this out over time. And it's really cool. Like how the lightning whip has the obvious uses of you can whip people with lightning, and then once you've upgraded it to go through buildings, you can extend harmless building circuits, and then if you synergize it with the mech, you can put this guy in between a couple of enemies because it's armored and not take very much damage with it, so you can extend your circuits across the map, and then you can also pull enemies into the circuits from across the map or pull this through. You can also target other units or buildings and pull it to them and shield them and stuff like that with it, and then create really, really long circuits, and that's just what this guy can do. You can actually do some really cool stuff. You can also extend the circuits with the rocks of this guy. It's really freaking cool. And this is just one of the mech teams. There are a bunch of mech teams to choose from. I should also probably talk about the unlock system, but I'll do that in just a second after I hopefully don't lose this mission in a single turn. This is the last turn, so I just have to live. Okay. If I were to attack this right now, what would happen? That's the wrong weapon, you doofus. Nothing yet, because that's not good enough. Really, I can ignore this one because it's just attacking him, and it's going to retreat. So if I just move him, suddenly that it doesn't do anything. It's not attacking a building, I don't have to worry about it. So just forget that guy for a minute. That one's about to die, but it's also going to do 2 grid damage if I ignore it. Which I can't. That one's going to do a bunch of damage too. Can I... do this? And then this. And then this. No. Actually, that was really dumb. That didn't do anything at all. I'm not sure why I did that. That didn't do what I had hoped it would do. Whoops. I kind of misappropriated that movement. I cannot undo that, unfortunately. Can I fix my stupidity slightly? Probably not. Well, okay, that one's taken care of. That's going to attack open nothingness. That one's going to hit a building. Although, actually, it doesn't really matter because that one's going to destroy the building anyway. Shoot. Okay, hang on. That one's no longer a problem. I can kill that one, basically because I screwed up. Some buildings are going to take a hit here. Kill that. Yeah, I screwed up the last turn there on accident. I moved too quickly without thinking, and we lost 2 grid defense as a result. Could have been worse, but I could have done that a lot better. I did get a couple of the optional objectives, though. Not all of them. I also got a time pod, and I did get one of the grid defense back. This is reputation, by the way, which at the end of an island, if you complete it, you spend as a currency on weapons, extra stuff, all kinds of, basically you spend it as a currency at a store before you move on. It's pretty cool. All right, what did I get? I got, oh, awesome, a reactor core and boosters, which are freaking awesome. Basically jump jets. Okay, so who should I give the boosters to? Probably the mech. The tank. Because they're an any class weapon, which means you can give them to anyone. Sometimes you have to give them to the class that they represent, like prime or brute or ranged. In this case, it's an any, so I'm going to give them to the grappling. That's awesome. Okay. But yeah, the unlock system in this is actually really cool. So FTL, for all of the things that I liked about it, did have a particular problem. One of the problems, this might have actually been a difficult thing with the, I might not be able to do that with the lightning whip. Anyway, and that its unlock system was a little linear. It was a bit of a ladder to climb because in order to unlock the ships, its main thing to unlock were ships. You basically had to go through a kind of ladder. You had to unlock, say, a particular ship, and then, oh boy, and then you had to, it was based on achievements. You had to unlock a particular ship and then get an achievement from that ship, which would help you unlock the next ship. and then you would get achievements from that one, which unlock more variants for it, and then eventually unlock another ship. It was very much based on getting a specific ship, which you would then use the achievements from it to unlock the next one. You were climbing a ladder to get the unlocks. In this case, there are two versions of unlocking things. You unlock pilots, which you basically saw the process for a minute ago with finding those pods. Sometimes there are pilots in the pods. You can then get the pilot to use in this playthrough, and then also at the unlock screen when you start a new game. And there are unlocking these, the actual mech teams. You also get them from achievements like these. Every squad has a couple of achievements that are related to how you use that squad, and there are also various achievements that are not related to any individual squad. However, the achievements simply give you coins, and you use the coins to buy whatever squad you want in whatever order you want, which I think is a much better system, a much better way to unlock them, because it allows you to unlock whichever ones you fancy, basically. Okay. There are cats trying to kill each other in the background. Okay, so now not only do I have to defend the robots for some sweet bonus objectives, I have to also not die and defend the buildings. Just as a test, if I do this, it will kill the robot. Yes, it will. Damn. Well, that could actually be a problem, because I don't want to kill the robot. What if I just push the robot out of the way? That was in error, I feel. I didn't see the water there, despite the fact that it says water tile. Okay, maybe I can just defend one of the robots. That was really fucking dumb. Maybe don't do that next time. Shit. Okay, this is almost as bad as that train mission. I hate that train mission, oh my god. There's a mission where you have to defend a train that pops up sometimes. And the train moves on its own, naturally. It's not, weird or anything. Yeah, I'm screwing up real bad here. And the train will basically go nuclear and, Tokyo drift through an entire city if it, hits the toenail of a mech. And it's really hard for me to keep this damn train alive. I've done it once, and I've tried the mission 3 separate times. I think maybe it's just a personal problem that I have with train missions in general, in that it reminds me of the really hard, what was it, Shining Force 3 mission, where you have to escort those civilians through the big train yard with the soldiers chasing them and trying to slaughter them. And it reminds me of that mission, and now I don't know. Every time I see a tactical map and trains combined, it pisses me off. I can't handle it. Okay. Well, that was awful. That was a really bad start to a mission that shouldn't have happened that way. So don't do that. I think what I'm going to do is first move this mech out of the way of that, because it's not going to hit anything important right now. Then I'm going to kill all of this. Let him attack nothing. And then kill this. Good. Yeah, I know there's... Hang on, actually. I might as well just repair him for future circuit use. There we go. This is going a little better after I, look. The robot had a eating Chinese food in the cockpit related accident. It's not important. Uh-oh. Well, he froze himself, so that's not, it doesn't matter that much. Actually, that's kind of good because he's just blocked himself in with stuff so people can't reach him as easily. I'm okay with that. We can still get one of the currency. Actually, if I were to do that right now, unblock that side, keep him right there, do this, that'll push me away slightly. I'm gonna sit him right here, block that spawn, heal him, and turn. Blocking a spawn does hurt you for 1 every time you do it, by the way. I think this is going okay. No, don't move out of your own shield. Why would you do that? Okay, he's gonna try and unblock him. I think instead of that... No, actually I can kill him because he's only got 2 health. Boop! Oh! Yeah, that's it actually. There we go. Just don't pay any attention to the horrible thing that happened at the beginning. What other robot? He's an only child, right? 1 lost. No, I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, that was mostly okay. And then this happens. Seismic activity once you've completed a certain number of the places, and you have to fight the boss, which I'll just go ahead and show you a bit of. Every area has different bosses that you can fight. This one is a, oh boy, a giant robot. Very giant robot that launches rockets with 4 damage in a 3-tile area. Holy crap. Oh, also it self-repairs. That's not good. And you have to defeat the robot in 5 turns and protect the corporate tower of an area. Oh. So yeah, this is Into the Breach. Is it worth the money? It absolutely freaking is, because it is extremely enjoyable. It's highly replayable with all the different types of mech squads with a ton of nuance to their ability sets. And it's already attacking the tower, damn it. And a ton of different things to actually try and do with lots and lots of sort of environments and different mission types. And there are also other mission types with different hazards and things like thunderstorms and floods and cataclysm, which is the tiles just fall away, and airstrikes, and sometimes you get other units like rocket artillery and things like that. And there are also lots of other weapons and things that you can add to your mechs, like as you can see this, I got a laser for this guy. And yeah, there's a lot here that I'm not currently able to show because it's a bit slow going right now because I'm trying not to die. Well, freaking shell, quit it. How do I get all the way over there exactly? Well, I mean, I can do that. That won't actually. Oh boy. This has been a look at Into the Breach. It is available right now on Steam for the low, very low price of $15. I should end the video right now because it's already been half an hour and it will go way too long if I continue because I can't stop playing this game. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.